I'm Jeanette Keynes from Jewelry Arts Inc. In this video, I'm going to basically explode the myth that silver and gold are really particularly different. I find a lot of students are really intimidated about soldering in gold because they think it's going to be like a whole new universe. Well, I'm going to show you it's really just the same as working in silver. So I thought we would do a little bit of soldering. We've got a beautiful gold bezel that Susie's made. She's got this gorgeous emerald cut tourmaline, which is very, very pretty. And we've done all our beautiful shaping and we've sanded the bottom nice and flat. We've got our little back sheet. We annealed that, we pickled it, we flattened it, and they're sitting together, you know, looking good. A lot of people think that gold soldering and silver soldering is like this totally different thing. I treat them pretty much identically. The only difference is like when I'm soldering silver, I use silver solder, and when I'm soldering gold, I use gold solder. I use the exact same methods. Now, although gold and silver, they distribute heat a tiny bit differently, but for soldering purposes, I find you treat them exactly the same, they work the same, everything is happy and good. So if you've ever seen any of my videos before, you know it's all about hot and fast, which is exactly what we're gonna do here. Like hot, fast, paste flux, you can do anything. So what we did is we've got some 20 soft solder because this is all 22 right here. And we balled it up, you know, cut up some little squares and balled it up on our solderite board. I like to use balls more than squares for a lot of setups because I feel like you get less of a scar and they snuggle next to the seam a little bit better. Like I feel like when you put a square in there and it jiggles in the flux, it always moves away from the edge, from that contact point. And then it'll melt, but it just leaves a stupid little puddle rather than being drawn into the seam. So that's why I think the ball works a little bit better, but your results may vary, whatever makes you happy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna like dip these in a little bit of paste flux, which is right here. I added a little hot water so it's nice and soupy. The paste flux will work perfectly well, no matter how dry it is. The problem is you'll never be able to get your solder off your tweezers. So it's really about that. Like, so pretty much at the beginning of every studio day, I like add a little hot water, you know, stir it up, get a little soupy so that I can operate. And it's so like condensed and everything that like, even if you get it pretty watery, it's always like, it's got plenty of power. Okay. So I'm gonna dip it in there. I'm gonna drop it in and I'll just let Alexis get a little shot there. People also get really caught up in like where their solder is placed when they're soldering something down to a back sheet. And the fact of the matter is you don't have to worry about your solder being evenly spaced as long as it's making good contact with the seam. With the back sheet and the bezel, you're gonna get hot, it's gonna flow, it's gonna travel around. So I'm gonna place some sort of spread out. When I dry that flux, they may all kind of roll together. As long as I have that criteria, I really don't care. Yeah, I'll probably put, I don't know, maybe 4 pieces in here or 5. These are relatively small pieces. One less now. Sorry, Susie, I dropped it into the paste flux. You know, and how you can avoid that is you can put a little bit of paste flux in a little dish like this. But for me, I always find that it then dries out too fast and I can never keep the right consistency. So for me, I just know that when I get to the bottom of this, I've got a nice layer of solder balls in there, but you can, again, make your own decisions as far as what, you know, you want to do. Because it just evaporates too quick for me if it's sitting out in a little dish. Okay, so there and there. I think I'll add one more piece. You get better and better at estimating how much it takes to fill from practice, of course, but I'm always looking for just a tiny bit of overfill so that I can clean it up, you know, without making a real indent. Because a very common mistake is just people use so much solder because they want to make sure it like attaches or they want it to be secure. And all that really means is it's messy, you know, a shit ton of cleanup, and then even after you've done your shit ton of cleanup, it doesn't look so great. So you know, just start cutting back and see what your results are if you're getting too much. Okay, so I put them in there, and you notice I didn't use a huge amount of flux. I'll probably add a little bit to the outside to make sure that the solder wants to run all around there. But also, this is high karat gold. It doesn't oxidize that much. Like if you're soldering in brass, you're gonna need to use a much more plentiful amount of paste flux. If you're doing something that doesn't oxidize that much, like sterling oxidizes, and you use paste flux, but you don't need to, like, people will just like an ocean and then you can't even see what you're doing. Okay, so I'm gonna dry the flux off. My solder is no doubt gonna hop around and go someplace I don't want it to go, and I'll probably take my tweezers and poke it back in place. Probably move this to a 1 tip. This is a 0 tip, which is probably enough, but generally, if you're not sure, hotter is always better. Okay, this will never happen on camera again, but the solder all stayed put. Literally, we have documented a moment that will never be recreated. I mean, because you try to dry it gently, but the fact is, it's wet. It bubbles, things go everywhere. That's just sort of life.
I'm gonna turn off this light.
Okay, yeah. So everything that I've done so far, this would be absolutely identical in silver. Like nothing's any different, except for I would be using silver solder. But whole process is the same thing. I'm gonna spark this up. I'm gonna have it down here so that the end of the flame is right underneath here. I'm not gonna screw around. I'm not gonna circle. I'm not gonna like whatever. I'm just gonna hot and fast, and you just watch it. You watch the outside edge. Because here's the thing, when you're doing something this, you have a big torch. If your face is over it, you will not enjoy that very much. You're gonna be, you know what I'm saying? Like you wanna be next to it, like this, not over it. And also you don't want to be like putting your nose like absolutely where all the flux is coming up. And look, I've done it. And then you're like, ooh, no, that's not supposed to be there, so. Okay, like that. Don't fear the flame, it's good, okay? But here's the thing, you know, let's pretend my piece is over here. You don't wanna be like this because you can't pull away fast enough. You wanna be like that so that the second the solder flows, I can just be gone. If you're like this, I guarantee what you're gonna do is you're not gonna do this. You're gonna go like this. And sometimes if it's hot enough, literally the difference of a couple seconds can be the difference between everything's great and everything is not great. Okay, so directly underneath. Look at that, that's sexy. That's it. And what I was watching, like I was saying before, is I'm watching for that solder to run around the edge. So to the best of my eyeballs, that looks great and perfect, but you would always, like, then you stop, you let it cool off, you put it in the pickle, and you check it. Because let's say you didn't add enough solder, or one of the solder balls did something naughty, you just add another piece. It's no big deal. Because sometimes people get real freaked out about, like, they don't want to solder again. And it's, as long as you don't do anything too insane, you can, I mean, you can solder on a piece again and again and again and again and again. Okay. We'll let Susie put it in the pickle, and then we'll do a close-up of it.
Ready? Okay, sorry.
I love it though, that like you work blue and then I'm just like, okay, pull it together. Okay. So I just wanted to show, this came out beautifully. The amount that we estimated the solder is good, like just a hair to overfill. Like it needs to overfill it just enough that you're not gonna have like a real indent after you file and cut and everything. And you notice like everything's nice and clean. This is like all we want. And silver soldering is exactly the same. So your next step is you're gonna cut the excess away, you're gonna file it, you're gonna sand it, and then we'll go on, okay? There you go. Okay, so there's like just a juicy close-up. You see how the solder's filled in the seam. Everything looks beautiful and tidy. It's just a tiny bit overfilled, which allows us to clean up and not have like little divots or anything. So this is a happy ending for Susie.